grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club sipping Moet is where you find me. Who rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club sipping Moet is where you find me. Bad question asking, blunt passing music. Bad question asking, blunt passing music. Bad question asking, blunt passing music. Bad question asking, blunt passing music.
What's up, everybody? Hopefully everybody can hear me. The levels look good in the monitors and everything like that. I'm kind of getting myself situated in this new cave. We're gonna call this the the Kid Casper cave 1.5, because it's about half my setup, about half the what's the word, the technological advances I would like to have in here. Lighting was pretty bad. I had to call somebody on FaceTime for about 2 hours, you know what I'm saying, to make sure I was sounding good and everything like that. I was looking like an unlockable character off of Mortal Kombat, you know what I'm saying, like a new challenger approaching. It was looking crazy off of Super Smash Brothers. I didn't care much for it that much. I got my black coffee. I'm good. Put a little bit of sugar in it, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get myself stasis and calm down. I have one of my monitors y'all can't see, but it's supposed to emulate a peach light, but y'all know I got synesthesia, so right now it looks indigo, so it's not really helping all that much on the monitors. It looks pretty decent over here. But yeah, hopefully I look good, hopefully I sound good. Okay, let's see. Black Girl Warrior says you look fine. Tyler says I look good. You know what I'm saying? We in here. That's good to hear. Molly, I mean, like, you might need to get your life together, dog. I don't really know what else to tell you. That's besides the point. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for being so patient. I've been taking, I've taken like a week and a half off since going on vacation to DC. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really too much of a vacation. It was kind of nutty. You know, some of my friends have never been to DC before, And I was trying to tell them, look, man, these DC crackheads are a little different. Y'all don't really understand what I'm talking about when I say the DC crackheads are a little different. So what do I mean by that? We're probably in DC for about an hour, and somebody just decides, I'm just going to take a dump on the sidewalk at 6 o'clock in the morning in front of everybody. And I'm just going to kind of deal with that. So right in front of Starbucks, we're all just drinking our coffee. I'm eating this like weird soggy sandwich that had like broccoli and I think it was some type of spaghetti sauce or something crazy on it. I don't know. Anyway, so somebody decides to poop on the sidewalk. My friends that are from the Midwest are like, what is happening? I'm like, oh yeah, this is DC. This got slapped by the crack epidemic. You know what I'm saying? So what we see is a product of white supremacy that is running rampant and running amok. And now somebody's taking a dump on the sidewalk. They had this one awkward moment where my brother decided to lock eyes with another one of the geologists, I would like to say, in DC. And he was just staring into this man's eyes. It was nuts. We had a whole situation where somebody that apparently decides, I'm just going to give health advice while simultaneously admitting to doing heroin. He's like, I don't smoke weed. I do heroin. That stuff that you guys smoke, the MS-13 curated it in the lab. It was nuts. I was like, I couldn't make it up. It was wild. I was sitting there looking like, is this happening right now? I can't believe this. Yes, this happened.
MS-13?
Negro, can you get out of here while I'm working? My goodness. Thank you. I'm working, sir. You're not on camera, but you about to be put on camera out here looking like a traitor of the Smurfs. How many Crips do you guys know that wear red? That's besides the point. Anyway, so anyway. Go back in your cave, black man. My goodness. He's so ugly. And then I got my brother in the background acting the absolute fool. You know what I'm saying? You give a man fronts and face tattoos and he just, I don't know. That's besides the point. Anyway, what's up, dog? Hi, how you doing? Hi, white man. Can you get out of here, please? Please get out of here. For the love of God, I'm working. We kind of just freestyle around here, guys. So yeah, DC was love, man. It was a good time. We were able to do the march. It was great. The queens out there was snapping. You know what I'm saying? Everything was good. I more specifically, I was able to connect with a couple of different people as a result of this DC trip. My sister Queen Jessica of the Not Your Safe Zone podcast was able to have Jolly Ginger on her podcast last Friday. Y'all should check that out. The link should be in my description. But before I get into the conversation tonight, I'm gonna drop the intro real quick. So I'll see you on a little bit. And apparently the connection's a little wonky. We don't hide anything from behind here anyway, by any means. So welcome everybody to the Kid Casper podcast. I'm your gracious, beautiful, blessed, beloved, and black host, the kid that they call Casper. I'm a Christian raptivist. Yes, rapper / activist. I love Jesus. I'm super far from a pacifist. If my brothers don't stay in the cave, we just gonna have to find out how we're just gonna need to find out how long they could hold their breath underwater. And while we're sitting here trying to get ourselves situated, looks like my guest is trying to reconnect real quick. So yeah, if this is your first time tuning in today, hello, I am Kid Casper. I am a Christian raptivist. Like I said, I'm a Christian content creator. I am a clothing brand owner, ghostthreads.com. That's how we pay the bills. I am a taco enthusiast. As you can see on my logo in the top right corner, there's a ghost with a taco on its desk. It looks like my guest is back, so I'm just rambling to kind of like segue into time and everything like that. Everything is looking good. Lighting is popping. Hair is looking fabulous as it normally does. I assume so. But my guest this evening is a fellow content creator. I just kind of, you guys know, I just kind of adopt these people off the internet. I just go around finding people on my For You page and everything like that. This one caught my eye for obvious reasons. I don't like to say opinionated, because some odd reason when it comes to especially like women of color, it's become like stigmatized. So let's just say she got some things to say. You know what I'm saying? We'll just say that. She is from, if I'm not mistaken, North Carolina. Yes, no. Am I getting that right? Nod, please. Mike, can you, no? Where can you like mouth it so I don't look like an idiot on the internet? That might help a little bit. Nah, not helping. You're not mouthing at all. Anyway, so everybody, she's over here trying to like, she's trying to talk to me, but she's backstage, so it doesn't really work like that. Anyway, I'm just gonna bring her up on stage from backstage. She's back here eating hot wings and trying to figure out what was wrong with that DC crackhead that I encountered over the week and a half. Everybody, I have on the Kid Casper podcast today, Micah, aka A Romanist. Is that, am I saying that right, my sister? Am I getting that right?
A Romanist. So very close.
A Romanist. My bad. I appreciate the correction. You know what I'm saying? With love comes correction. With correction gives direction. That is that's beautiful. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. A little nervous, but we're gonna get through this.
All right. Well, so I kind of lied to you like a tad bit. So I told you I usually freestyle most of these, but I always have these super intense 3 questions I always ask, more like these 3 statements I would want you to correspond or give a proxy to. So that's fine. No need to be nervous. So, you know, for the first one, you know, we're just gonna, because you're new to the platform, you're new to me as well. So I'm going to be learning about you as my following is going to be learning about you. So this is where you get to tell us a little bit about yourself. So tell us, who is A Romantis, aka Micah? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I'm just a person that talks about cultural appropriation within, you know, K-pop really, but really Asian entertainment industry, worldwide entertainment industry. I do like to see our representation. I like to see, you know, when our community is given credit and, you know, honestly, and holding people accountable. That is what I like to do. You know, I'm just a 21-year-old out here trying to still figure out stuff for myself as well. And, you know, I enjoy what I do because I'm educating myself, not just others as well.
Got it. And for my next super intense question, and this is always one of my favorites. If you had to pick a favorite Disney princess, what would your favorite Disney princess be?
Let it go.
Negro, if you don't get out of here, I'm working.
No.
That's on you, Micah. That the floor is yours.
Well, I think it's gonna sound wrong because do you even consider her a princess? But Pocahontas, I think she's my favorite.
I mean, what we found out about Pocahontas, it used to be my favorite, but the history behind it is a little dark and twisted, but it's all right. I ain't gonna be mad at you if that's your
even
answer.
so, I still respect the person.
Well, somebody's got to. Apparently America did it, but that's besides the point. And if you had...
Very true.
Yeah, exactly. And if you... This will let you know how much of a nerd I am. If you had to pick a starter 6 Pokemon set to go against the Elite 4, what starter 6 would they be?
You know, just keep it
I don't even know why you asked me about that one.
You can just say you're cooler than me. You didn't have to put me on blast like that. She's like, I don't know why you asked me those questions.
I don't know that one. You better than me on that. You better than me.
You gotta pick like Pikachu or something. You gotta pick I don't know. Just go. Come on. I know you watched a little bit of Pokemon. You gotta watch tiny bit.
Squirtle.
Okay, so we got 2. We got Squirtle. Okay. All right. You're not off the hook.
I can only give you like what I know, like Charizard. You know, Pikachu. That's all I got.
This isn't going well. You got 3 more to give me. We're not moving on until we get this. No.
I really don't know. You got me. Those are the ones I know.
Wow. You want me to give you assist, black woman? I can give you assist if you'd like.
There you go. Go ahead.
Okay,
please.
I got you. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Totodile. He's like this like weird crocodile looking thing. He's kind of like Squirtle's crackhead cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then you could go with Magby, which he's like this. He's got like this like afro that spits fire. You know what I'm saying? Feels a little stigmatized. I don't know yet. I'm trying to find a way to reconcile this. That's besides the point. Comrade, be quiet. I'll put you in timeout. And for a 6, I'll have to go with Chikorita. For some odd reason, I just gonna pick Chikorita for you today. But yeah,
Okay.
you're good. You got past the intense. You got past the intense questions. Now it's gonna be a freestyle for the rest of the way. Okay. All right, cool. And I got your message.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Like I said, we off the cuff around here. That's all good and dandy. So one of the reasons I brought you on here today is because, you know, I told you a little bit backstage. Well, let me do this real quick. So I brought you on the pod today because, you know, reason I started this podcast is kind of learn everybody's, at least as many people as I can, learn from them, learn their experience, allow them to be able to tell their stories, especially for content creators, especially as people that are within like the, you know, the BIPOC community, you know, the Black community and everything like that, being able to tell their story, but providing a safe space to do so. So if you like to, as far back as you can remember, tell us a little bit about what it was like for a young Micah coming up in America today.
I mean, it was a little tough, but I think, you know, everybody who, you know, grows up has identity issues. You know, I think I was lucky enough to experience both the communities that I am mixed with. As I said, I do identify as Black, but I do think it's important for me to talk about that as well, of being mixed, because, you know, that's just, there's privilege in it. I grew up in a Black community at first, more predominantly Black, and you know, I felt kind of home there. Then I moved, and then it was more of a predominantly white area, and I realized that I just never fit in, and they definitely bullied me for it. So I had to figure out a lot of stuff on my own. And yeah, you know, it was a little hard, but I'm glad, you know, it taught me a lot of life lessons and a lot of, you know, things about myself personally.
All right. So so it's funny, you and me talked about this very briefly last night. And I'm trying to look into you're fine. As you interrupt me, try not to interrupt me. You're good. My gosh. Good Lord. Welcome to the Kid Casper podcast. If you haven't liked, shared, subscribed to this video already, that would be beneficial. You know what I'm saying? It helps run our numbers up. You know what I'm saying? That's good. That tells YouTube to push us up the algorithm and everything like that. That'd be good. So one of the things that we talked about briefly, when you sent, I think it was like the description for this podcast and everything like that. You were saying, it said at first you identified as biracial, but you wanted to go back for that. Talk to me a little bit about, I guess, just for you, what does that mean for you to self-identify yourself and not so much put yourself in a box, but give yourself that label? And is there like a sense of, well, just talk to me a little bit about that a little bit, because I think just like the Black experience is not a monolithic experience. When we're talking about growing up mixed in this country, there's way more nuance than I think people really, really realize. So why don't you talk to a little bit to that?
Okay, so I wanted to say that I wanted you to definitely put down that I identified as Black, you know, because I feel like if, you know, you disregard and just say, you know, hey, I'm biracial, you know, there's a whole bunch of different biracial experiences. But the reality is, when you are half Black, you know, regardless of no matter what else you are mixed with, the other community will always consider you as Black. So I just think, regardless, I think for me, it shows where I stand. And I do think, it matters to talk about that. And especially with issues I talk about, I definitely need to talk about being Black, identifying as Black, where I feel most comfortable. And I think, anybody who is biracial, they shouldn't have to choose. But the reality is that, unfortunately, we do have to choose at least once. So.
Gotcha. And that could play a part. Check your messages, by the way. But a lot of that could play into one, how it doesn't necessarily matter like how we I guess identify ourselves. Because little story about me. I am part Dominican. I'm also part Polynesian. That's why I have to move my eyebrows up to see out my eyes and everything like that. So even though society will view me as all of these things, you said you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Yes, no? No, yes, no. You can't hear me? Well, I hope the internet can hear me. That's the important part. So I was saying, so when we're talking about the mixed experience, you can identify yourself as one way, but society will look at you as another. Did that kind of play into, I guess, how you might have wrestled with I guess this identity thing for yourself? Yes, no? It's the bush. I'm telling you, it's the hair. We talked about this. You muted.
Yikes.
There you go. All good.
Are you
all
able
good.
to hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yes, you
Okay.
sound amazing now. I don't know if you can see the comments, but you sound a little T-Painish, just a tad bit. I don't know what it was. It was all good. It was just I don't know what was happening. All good. So let me restate my question a little bit, collect ourselves. It's all right. We're good. I told you. I've taken a week and a half off, so I'm a little rusty. This is your first time meeting me, so we both rusty. We're just going to be awkward together. You know what I'm saying? This is what family's all about. So what I was saying is, for me being, because I am mixed with other things as well, being part Hispanic, being part Polynesian, but society views me as a Black man, as my skin tone, my nose, my lips. Apparently I don't have Black people ears. I don't know what that means. But society, I don't know. If you do know, please tell me. But how society not only views you and treats you can shape your experience, and then how people respond or react to you can shape, I guess, your experience, or even shift the needle as far as how you identify yourself. Does that speak a little bit to how you identify yourself in your experience in society?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel I had never really been told that I was anything else by anybody else. Usually people can tell. If anything, I would be racially ambiguous. Most people don't know what I am, but they can tell that I am Black. So I think, with my experiences, I've just been treated as Black. And I think that doesn't shape how a person identifies. Only until that I get on TikTok did I ever hear that I was white passing. I know I'm looking like Casper right now, but that usually, it was my first time ever hearing that.
Oh, we're twins?
And that's how
We look like twins? That's amazing. I love that. But continue. I completely interrupt you. My bad.
Oh my gosh. I'm done on that thought. Thank you.
Gotcha. Maybe if you pull, can you get your hair? You can get your hair in a ponytail. I'm not gonna insult you like that. I want to be able to hear you, because everybody's texting me, hey babe, we can't hear her real quick. Do you think you can? Is there a way you could pull the?
Oh Lord, I'll try.
Pull the crown back a little bit. That might work. I don't know. We'll figure it out. No, messy minister, I'm not Japanese. Last time I checked. If so, somebody owes me a check. I don't know. But Yeah, I can definitely get that because I've noticed, especially when we're talking about TikTok, it's turned into like this space where people think that they could tell you about yourself better than you could tell you yourself about yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of gatekeeping. There's a lot of policing people, especially when we're talking about policing people on their blackness. So I could definitely, speak to that for sure, for sure.
Yeah. I think especially when you do talk about Black topics, especially, people are going to definitely question your Blackness because we're not a monolith, so we're all going to have different opinions regardless. But if it's, especially with what I talk about, a lot of people have a celebrity that they really like and they're not willing to accept that they're in the wrong. And they look at me and they're like, well, you're not Black enough to tell me about this or say that this is offensive to Black people. And it's just very interesting how that works out.
Exactly, because I told you I get comfortable on my own podcast, so don't mind me at all. But I think that is a little weird because we end up tripping over like the most. Yeah, I told you I'm gonna get comfortable on my own podcast. Shoot, I'm nervous. But I think it is a little weird when we're talking about like when we're speaking on like specific issues and stuff like that. We end up tripping over like little things that seem remedial in a sense, very elementary. When we're talking about the Black experience, we're talking about the things that are hindering our Blackness. But then sometimes I feel like we'll get in the way of each other. That like while we're trying to nurture our Blackness, thrive in our Blackness, what I'm saying, take interest in finding our own identity and everything like that. I've never experienced that much turbulence until I got on TikTok. I was like, oh, this is high school all over again. Like, my gosh, like I didn't know all the rap songs, and now they put me in the camp with the white boys. I don't know if you can I don't know if you can speak to that at all.
I mean, I understand that, it was, as I said, it was like the first time I had ever heard that I was white passing was on TikTok. And even so, there's still people that argue with them and say like I have Black features, and it's just funny to hear that because I think in this society we have people right now trying so hard to at least look racially ambiguous or mixed with Black or Black that people aren't recognizing those who are actually Black, and it's a struggle in a way, a little bit.
It's I mean, I get that, and I've noticed that this has become more of a burning topic, especially after you mentioned her earlier when we were backstage, but Rachel Dolezal, when short, I don't know what she was doing. Maybe she was taking baths in like tea bags and stuff like that, and she was just coming out a little more cocoa than regular nowadays. But I've noticed that like, especially when we're talking about policing Blackness as far as just features, people don't realize that we come in literally all different shapes, sizes. I have a sister that has albinism, but she is a Black woman that I call her golden because if you hear her talk, you're like, oh no, that's Big Mama right there. What are you talking about? She's not Black. You ain't about to sit here and have this argument with me. But yeah, that has that caused you any type of like stress or any like, I would say de-stress, because there's a difference between de-stress and eustress. Has that caused any type of de-stress for you, possibly even hindered, like, I guess, your identity while you're nurturing your Blackness during this time?
I mean, I know where I stand now. I have a lot of people that do support it. I think, for me to truly show, because, as I said, there's a lot of biracial people that, have made, Black people question accepting us and all of that into the community. I understand because ignorance. But I think I very much stand firm in my identity now more than ever. It caused me more issues growing up than anything, not now.
Gotcha. So this is a question I always ask people, regardless if you are a king, queen, or monarch, when we're talking about the Black experience. Tell me about when you realized you were Black and what that meant. Like for me, I will never forget. I was whistling around like one of my uncles, and he told me, "You better stop whistling. Don't you be whistling around white folk. You're gonna end up like your cousin Emmett." And I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Who? We got a cousin Emmett? Who's Emmett?" And then I learned about Emmett Till, and I learned about like what that meant. Yeah, at 5. You know what I'm saying? I didn't learn how to ride a bike till I was 8. But yeah, cool. That's fine. Don't whistle around white folks. That's perfectly fine. That way to bypass trauma into my life. But can you speak to, if you do remember, when you found out what it meant to be Black and like the gravity of what that means in the society?
I think there's a lot of things I had to unlearn. First, I think when I first really understood it, it was in high school. I didn't fully understand that until I started. Well, actually, I'd say middle school, because as I said, it was really rough starting in like more of a predominantly white area. Because, I noticed that they had never treated me the same. They made fun of my features, my hair, everything that was really Black about me. And, I had to understand that then, that, my beauty, we're not in the same beauty standard, because, you're not Black. And, if I could go back in time, I would tell myself not to worry about what other people said about Black features and things like that.
I get that for sure. I think it's what you're speaking to is not only do you have to nurture your Blackness in an anti-Black society, but you have to make sure you hold yourself accountable, because I feel like we all, as a people, we have anti-Blackness within us. And it's like always staying conscious of that, because it's very easy to denounce and absolve yourself of your Blackness, as a coping mechanism to kind of like make it through and like kind of ascend in society. But at the same time, not dying to yourself that you end up losing yourself in the process. So I definitely can relate to that for sure. So another question, because I'm just slowly like learning about you a little bit. We spoke about this very briefly, and even in the description you talked about you, and I even noticed with your content, you pay attention very closely to like the entertainment business and everything like that. Speaking on like beauty standards and everything like that. How people will use assimilate to certain things, which is our likeness. And I see you speak a lot on that. And even talk about when you said with your childhood that you are learning to appreciate these things about yourself, but that seems to be like a target for you, or like your niche, I would say, as far as making your content. Talk to me a little bit how as a romanticist, is that, if I said that right? Correct? Yes. Okay, cool.
Good.
Talk to me a little. Yes. Awesome. Talk to me a little bit about what made you, I guess, like pay attention or want to like look into that for yourself as far as like a niche goes.
So I know a lot of people will look at my content and think like this is not that serious. A lot of people speak on a lot of Black issues, really like racial activism, for the Black community. And I feel like it's nice to have another voice, but I did not see really anyone constantly talking about, the entertainment industry. And specifically what I talk about on my page right now is K-pop. I've liked the Asian entertainment industry ever since I was really little, like 6, 7. I was really into anime. At 9, I got into K-pop. So I had noticed through this past, half of my life, I've noticed a lot of things that, made me uncomfortable when I was younger, but I didn't fully understand that was going on. When you see celebrities, doing blackface and, for a variety show, and you don't know how to feel about that in like 2009 or anything like that. And you're like, I thought this was dead. Or using our styles, our cultural styles with clothing and hair styles. We don't really you don't understand that, when they are still degrading Black people, suppressing Black voices, when it does, come to recent, things happening lately. So I really do talk about it a lot because I feel like, with K-pop, a lot of the fans are young and they don't understand. And I've definitely seen people put, these celebrities before their Blackness. And I think it's only fair to talk about these celebrities, especially in holding them accountable. A huge thing for my page is to just hold people accountable. I don't believe in cancel culture. I do believe people can change. And I also believe that everybody has a problematic past, if not a future. So I do think it's all about educating, and no one's better than the other, really.
Yeah, there's this one there. So I don't subscribe to cancel culture. I believe in accountability culture. You know what I'm saying? There's this one bar by one of my favorite rappers is, if crooked sticks can draw straight lines, then look at me. You know what I'm saying? I think we all, as you said, we all were a little problematic growing up. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was talking about this one time, like growing up in this culture, roasting each other and cracking jokes on one another and everything like that. It's very easy to cross that line, but it was almost like a sport to cross that line in a sense. So it's definitely, we have to allow people to be human, but at the same time, just because we're human, that doesn't give us an excuse to act like animals and just lack empathy when we're trying to exist in this society. So I definitely have gotten like that impression from your work, but I've obviously seen the pushback that you have gotten. Has that been, if you can speak to the pushback, the recoil you have gotten while taking these shots, and speaking out on these things? Talk a little bit about, I guess, like the abrasiveness that you've had to like deal with while speaking on these things, trying to get people to understand the gravity of some of these stances, takes that they take, and how does that impact you today?
Well, I am a little bit of a young TikToker. Haven't only been on here for like, a few months.
Hold on, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We don't do, look, Fred Hampton was 21, 22 years old. So we're killing that real quick. Continue. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry for interrupting you. That's not
I
going to be
was
the
just
last
talking
time
about
either.
a few months on the app. Chill out. But
Okay. All right. Look, we don't do that. Okay. Greatness comes in all ages, shapes, and sizes. That's all I wanted to. You good. Don't let it happen again. All right.
Really, I do. I think, in the beginning it was a little hard because depending on certain groups, there's a certain following. One of my biggest pushbacks from my videos is when I talk about BTS. It's hard to really talk about anybody who's like, the hugest thing out. You can't talk about that because usually the fans are going to be really young, and the person that they idolize is just going to be perfect. As I said, really the first time I've ever been questioned on my Blackness was on TikTok. And it is about talking about people that have said colorist things, have appropriated our culture. And it's just interesting to see that kind of pushback towards me when literally all my content is showing you what these people have done. So it's really not me making up lies. So that's my biggest pushback, really.
Gotcha. And so I've also noticed this, and so this is just my standing. I don't argue with anybody that's not paying me. That's just me. So I see people I can't do it. I don't got time for it. And sometimes I'll forget what my moniker says, and I step back into who I was before Jesus. I need Jesus. Jesus doesn't need me. And sometimes I need to be reminded of that. But I've seen, especially when you speak on these issues, people kind of, and I don't know if this will make sense to you. People will either look at the pigmentation or the blood quantum and think that you are not, at least what I've gotten out of like just digging in your comments and stuff like that. People look at what you look at and not exactly what you are saying like what you're speaking is some truth. You know what I'm saying? This is important things that I think people need to understand why the gravity in some of these like problematic statements and stances are problematic. But they're like, you're not Black enough to talk about these things, as if you need to look a certain way to speak on the right thing. Especially when you look at like your hair, they listen to how you talk, features and everything. It's there, but it's not in the box that they could speak to. So have you found that to be semi-damaging or frustrating while doing this work in your activism, advocating for the very things that everybody else should be advocating for, but you don't look the part? Can you speak to that a little bit?
I think it's come to a point that I have to understand that it's just people on the internet. What I really like, in the beginning, it really did affect how I felt and like my mental health, and that's why I would take breaks. But now, literally, how I feel on these topics, because I'm talking about things that are affecting the Black community. I literally put this on a lot of my videos and pin it. If you are not Black, I don't care about your opinion anyway. You know, a lot of people who are disagreeing, most of them who are disagreeing, are not Black. So I really have no care in the world for someone who isn't a part of my community to tell me how to feel on this subject. I do love having conversations on my page. I don't mind that. You can, have a little bit of an argument in the comment section as long as it's classy. I believe in having some discourse, but not to the point where it needs to be ignorant and you're just, being very offensive. And it's like, you can't tell me it's not offensive if I'm Black. If I find it offensive and I'm Black, then it's offensive. So.
And not even that. I think it's like, maybe it's just me, but I feel like if there are people in our community, and this is me speaking, so everybody that's watching is going to watch the playback. This is Kid Casper speaking. Why are we having these conversations in front of the kids? And when I say this, like what the adults are talking about, like the bills, taxes paid, and the mortgage and everything like that, we keep that from the kids. We don't need, not trying to be ignorant, but we need to segregate certain conversations. I'm just going to say it just like that. We need to segregate certain conversations. We don't need people to see the tension and the division in our community put out on the display on Front Street. Because then what's going to end up happening is they're going to be like, well, why should we take y'all seriously? Y'all don't even take each other seriously, essentially. Has there ever been, I hope so. I mean, like people try to come at me nasty. I just send them my Patreon link. But have people, I guess, like changed their ways since you've like kind of like let them know like, hey, this is the foundation I'm standing on. I know who I am. I know what I am. And I know that these issues are important to me. Has the turbulence eased up a tad bit? Hopefully. I don't know.
It's eased up a little bit now that BTS is out of the way, out of the topics. I know that it's like very like out there. I'm calling out one fan group really, but there are going to be more groups that are big, and then I'm gonna have to deal with like issues later that I'm gonna have to talk about. But that it's just to be expected with this fan group and this, the K-pop fans. It's always going to be normal. And I will say that, certain conversations shouldn't be in front of kids. But I will say that, as I said, a lot of these people, that are commenting or watching my content are, young. They're like teenagers, preteens even maybe. So, the reason why I even made it, especially because, I wasn't that educated when I was younger too, when I was watching these celebrities. There's times that I excuse people arguing like they were paying me in the comments section, why someone could wear a hairstyle if they haven't, done something offensive to the Black community. And, I feel like it's only right, learning from that mistake myself, growing older and doing this is the key to stopping the ignorance is education. A lot of these people do not know that they're, celebrities or people that they listen to have done this, and then they're quick to say, their favorite group is better than somebody else's, and it's really just petty stuff. It's online stuff, but really to hold everybody accountable, you just got to lay the information out there.
Yeah, and then what I've realized is that when being challenged, we're not always going to get a mature response, I would say. I just tell people when it gets to the point where disrespect starts getting thrown out, then empathy and understanding, I just check out. I'm like, look, you're clearly concrete. You're not soil. I can't sow seeds in this concrete right now. That's somebody else's job. But I think it's just knowing how to regulate yourself, knowing when some people are just, what's the word? When I say like I'll just say it like that, worth your time and your energy, because I feel like if you spend more time coming at people or, going back and forth with people that are kind of let you know off rip, they're not going to change your mind. It makes it harder for you to be able to take the time to want to spend time educating people that are actually going to be more susceptible to the truth, to want to be introduced to something, introduced to a new palette. Yes, Messy Minister, blowing my comment section up like I'm not reading your comments, my goodness, and your text messages, good Lord. But yeah, I think that's the important thing, especially when we're talking about being activists, to not burn yourself out when doing this work, for sure.
I think there really is only so much you can do with educating. I think one of the lessons that I've learned with being a TikToker, talking about this stuff, is that, you cannot change willful ignorance. People will argue with you, and, as much as I promote, just having a little discourse, talking, saying your side in a respectful way, you can never change willful ignorance, so it really comes down to like, you got to get out of my comment section because I can't deal with that, or you're going to have to respect my opinion on it and just not come back to my page. So
yeah, it's a slippery slope, but I think like just using discernment when operating in these spaces is definitely the best way to go. Because there's been times where especially if I'm thinking about bringing somebody on, I'll be like, you know what? Let me see how they hit with people. Let me check in. Let me get up in these comment sections real quick. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it's ridiculous. I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I just let my SMM handle that. I don't really feel like arguing with people. Once again, I can't. I know that I came from a place of bitterness and aggression, so I try not to engage people in the comment section, but that's besides the point. I don't know if you saw this lovely comment. Somebody got rid of it. Good job, moderators. Hey, having moderators in place too to protect your mental health is always important. So my next question is, and I think this is important when we're trying to learn different experiences and everything like that. Has this ever come up for you? I made a video, I think it was sometime last year, and I spoke about my own anti-Blackness and everything like that. I called it Box in a Barrel. It was based on, I don't know if you're familiar with the Barrel of Laughs by chance, or the history of the Barrel of Laughs. Okay,
no.
Let me educate you real quick. I got you. So a Barrel of Laughs, there were physical barrels that were left around like the plantation and everything like that. Slaves basically could not laugh. You could not be too loud. You would have to stick your head in a barrel and laugh, express joy. Why? Because you made white people uncomfortable, essentially. After slavery ended, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, after slavery ended, there was still these barrels that were left around town because, once again, making white people uncomfortable was bad. I have a saying that says white fragility threatens black stability. So what you would have to do is like shove your head in a barrel and laugh, cry, express emotion. These things were filled with and without water sometimes. For me, I spoke on how growing up in the society and not fitting into a box, not wanting to conform to these boxes that people within and outside of our community would try to put me in. I started denouncing myself for being black, essentially. I'd be like, I would pick every other shade of brown, essentially, before picking my blackness. I would not acknowledge my Blackness because for me, it was a coping mechanism. Was there ever a time that you would just flat out like denounce yourself, or would you not partake in certain things or step away from certain things within our culture that comes with things that our community I feel like we should be able to take pride in the positive things. Was there ever a time that you would denounce yourself as a coping mechanism while navigating in certain spaces?
I mean, luckily, no. It's always, I think that's why I made such a big deal about how I identify, was that I felt like the biggest point where I wasn't not identifying as Black was more of an injustice. You know, I felt like I shouldn't be calling myself mixed if, that's just not. Speak on that
a little bit, because I don't think people really get the gravity of that. So break that down for me. That you think that it's an injustice not to identify yourself as Black, though you are biracial, yes. But I think people don't really get the gravity of that. So break that down for the good folk on the internet.
Okay. So of course there is privilege. You know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to say, biracial to someone. I'm going to say I'm Black. And unless you are really asking me, I'm going to tell you that, yeah, my mom and my dad are two different races. Like, that's the only thing I'm going to give you. But I really do think it comes to more of accepting yourself. And I think when I fully just embraced myself, that was when I was like, hey, I am Black and I'm proud. And I feel like it's more of a pride thing. It's more of embracing yourself and your culture and your roots. And when I finally did that, it just feels right to say I'm Black.
And and I think this is important because I don't think there's a definition, like there's not a textbook definition. That's why I always think it's weird when people police each other on their Blackness. What does Blackness mean to you specifically?
I hope this does not sound cheesy.
Girl, look, this is the Kid Casper podcast. You can talk however you want to talk on here. I already told you. You need to smoke a blizzy. You need to drink a drink. Do what you need to do. Just don't get naked. So your definition of Blackness is your definition. You're more than fine. You are more than fine.
I mean, I think it's strength. It's life. It's what you need to be proud for. I've always just thought of it as home. That might be a very weird definition, but that's what I've always thought of Blackness. I feel more comfortable, and that's just how I've been identifying for a while now. And that's all anyone has ever really told me I am, outside of family, but it's home, strength, longevity, it's everything.
That's what's up. I think, and also I don't think it's cheesy or corny. I thought how you broke it down. I think that's beautiful. Honestly, you described it as home. You described it as strength. So I want to take it back a little bit when we were discussing like your childhood and everything like that. Did you ever find it hard to nurture your Blackness while coming up as a young Micah in society? I'm serious. I mean, like, I feel like this is important because it shows like your growth and everything like that. Was it a task for you, or was it just, I would say, like a harder task for you coming up, nurturing your Blackness growing up in your family as a youth?
This is going to sound wrong, but no.
I'm listening.
I think it's, I was embraced, by both sides of the family, but more of the family that I got to see more of the extended family and spend time with, and, but who are like really like spent more time with that were younger was the Black side. And so that's why it's always never been like a question of if I'm Black, you know? It's never been like, oh, are you embracing it? The only time that I felt, you know, out of place is, you know, when I was, you know, made fun of for how I acted, how I spoke. And, you know, I felt like I had to I don't know, try harder and try harder to be more accepted. But, you know, growing up, you know, realizing that Black people are not a monolith, we don't all act the same way, we don't all like the same things, you know. I think that was the only time I had a hard time accepting myself.
Gotcha. So I did this conversation a couple months ago. I did like a BIPOC solidarity panel months ago, and we talked about the importance of being taught about what you are, being like what you come from and everything like that, because we do live in an anti-Black society and everything like that. Speak from your own experience, because it sounds like you were left in good hands, essentially. Talk about which is I'm grateful to hear that, honestly. It actually makes my heart smile to hear that, honestly. Talk about the importance of being, I would just say, a person of color, but what more specifically when we're talking about the Black experience, talk about the importance of having a good tribe to nurture said Blackness in an anti-Black society, and the detriments that could come with it if it's not being nurtured, and speak to it off of your own experience, essentially.
Well, I think it would have been, there's struggles to be having like parents who are in an interracial relationship. I think it does matter to make sure you understand the other person's culture, social issues, and everything before you really have like a kid together. But I think it's really important, especially with, you know, Black people with a biracial child, or really just with any, you know, Black person, when you're teaching things on, I think a big thing for us is to teach self-love. And I think that's why I had come up with the truth of the idea that, you know, Blackness is, you know, beautiful life, you know, strength, longevity to me. It's because I was taught self-love, you know, to love and be proud of who I am and what I am, and, you know, what we came from.
Was there ever a time where it was extremely difficult to love yourself as a Black woman in this society?
Well, I didn't feel, this is going to sound funny, but I didn't feel like I was very attractive when I had moved, after I had moved in a predominantly white area. I didn't feel like I was, you know, the beauty standard, which is true. I wasn't the beauty standard there. I didn't feel like I was beautiful. I straightened my hair, you know, it's going to sound horrible, but I did not, you know, tan. I was trying to, you know, be as pretty to people as possible. And I thought I would fit the beauty standard. And it really, you know, hurt my self-confidence, even though now I understand that, you know, I am the beauty standard, unfortunately, you know, for our community.
Oh, see, now we getting into the heavy stuff. The beauty stand. Oh man, now we about to let me get comfortable real quick in my Papa San chair. So it sounds like what you're speaking to is not only trying to like cope in an anti-Black society and everything like that, but realizing the effects that happened into fitting into these boxes. More specifically, certain things of our Blackness, as we like to equate it to likeness, that people like to fetishize and stuff like that. I don't know for you. Like my hair, I think well, I don't even know what grade my hair is. I think my hair is like 3C, if I'm not mistaken. If I brush it out real fine, it looks like that. Oh, it's the perfect, it's the good hair standard and everything like that. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you. I hate that microaggression. I don't know what good hair is. I don't know what bad hair is. I think the only time you have bad hair is when you're bald, because it's not hair. It's a thumb without a nail. But have you ever found that to be difficult, especially being mixed? You're identifying as Black. That's absolutely fine. Have you ever found that to be troublesome when engaging people? Because you don't know if they like, I'm talking about friends too, platonically and romantically. Have you found that to be troublesome when establishing relationships, divinity with people, because you're wondering, is it because I look a certain way, I act a certain way that is palatable to the peoples in a sense?
Well, I'm known for being very blunt. I stay true to myself. But I do think with the way that I look, we know the whole light is right, and all of that, especially with hair as well. I think the hardest time and the hardest lesson I had to understand is with, romance and dating. Are they fetishizing me, or do they actually like me for me? And it's hard to, go through with that when you're not necessarily taught about how you are fetishized and what would happen and what you're going to experience. Other than that, with friends, most of my friend group is usually are darker skinned women than me. And I love that. I feel like I understand more of the experience. I get to know more. If I have any questions, that relate to, my darker sisters, then I ask them. I ask their opinion. What is offensive? What should I not say? What is wrong with the beauty standard? And we'll talk about it.
Gotcha. And my brother's over here making sure I'm on my toes. So when I speak of Blackness, I'm talking about if you have Black in you. I hope everybody understood what I meant by that, because we have people that are like Rachel Dolezal that are like mayonnaise that don't even have olive oil in it. Like, because my brother's blowing my phone up at the same time. So wish you would have gave me these notes afterwards. That's fine. I'll edit that out. But that's interesting because for like, especially for me, I talk about this all the time where like I'm starting to like these certain things about myself, but I don't want it to become sensationalized, especially after the rise of like the Black Lives Matter protests and everything last year. It became a trend. It's like, oh, look at this strong Black man or Black woman. You have the hair and the nose. You're so damaged and this is that. I'm like, no, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Please go be a wall and leave me the hell alone. I think but I think that's one thing that you said that was interesting, especially when you talk about the light is bright or bright is right beauty standard that we're always dealing with when we're talking about how we're not allowed to take pride in our Blackness, but everybody, it's cool when everybody else does it. Mm-hmm. We're not allowed to have that though. More specifically, I remember when, not really a fan of this woman, but Kamala Harris, you know what I'm saying? When we're demonizing her, oh, she Black as hell. Blackity black, black, black. When it's time to incentivize and reward her, it's, oh, she's West Indian. She's also part Asian. She's not really Black. You know what I'm saying? Our Blackness is being, our Blackness is demonized, obviously, when we're doing something wrong. It's never celebrated when we're doing some, I would say like culturally wise, unless we're doing it. And we are doing a lot better, I would say, over the last like 5 years or so. But yeah, that frustrating as hell. And I think like the one thing that is upsetting about this is that we do it to ourselves too, is when we'll talk to each other and we'll say, oh, they're just cute because they're light skinned. It's like, no, I've seen some ugly light skinned people. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some. I mean, sorry.
That's good. I understand.
Not ugly. Just you don't want to look at them as long. I don't know. Maybe that's it. And then you've seen some beautiful dark skinned people. Have you ever found that to be frustrating when we're talking about these Eurocentric beauty standards, or just when people assimilate to whiteness? We have to separate, as far as us as a people, we have to separate something being good simply because it's good, not because of what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? You could be beautiful and be this. It's not put in a box like the beauty standard, the successful standard, palatability. In a sense, we equate it to whiteness, or the closest thing to whiteness. Have you ever found that to be frustrating while navigating in different spaces? But more specifically, when we're talking about within the Black community, have you found it hard to communicate with members in our community that this is not it? That, like, y'all are actually doing more anti-Blackness than Blackness in this sense?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to like your hair comment. I mean, I think with like texture, or a good example would be like nappy. When people say nappy, or another one would be to tell kids not to go outside or stay out too long, so they don't get too dark. I've heard that before. And things like that. I think it really does affect our community in that way. And it's like, we're doing that to ourselves. And it's like, what's wrong with getting darker? Or what's wrong with, having tighter curls? I make sure to really not describe anybody's hair as nappy, because I find it just ridiculously offensive. I don't know why we continue to even use that word for describing anybody's hair, because it's usually used to be demeaning. And I think for skin tone and talking about that with colorism, I think it's sad that, we equate skin tone to being more lighter skin tone to being more attractive, when for me, it's quite the opposite. I'm like, if you're darker, then, you are definitely, that's Black. That's beautiful. That's what's something you should be proud of. And, melanin is nice. I don't have much of it right now, but when you got enough.
You got enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's I do think it's sad. I think, being more melanated is beautiful. I think we should say that more. Personally, I think we're all beautiful, but being dark is amazing. No matter how, being like a little bit darker, being the darkest, it's all beautiful. And I think we should all embrace it. Really.
So I got people. Why do y'all text me during the podcast? So somebody wanted me to circle back when we talk about the importance of this and the dangers of fetishization. I don't think people realize, specifically men, when we're talking about in this patriarchal society, how damaging and dehumanizing that is. I'm getting notes before the podcast is over, but I talk about this stuff anyway, but they wanted to hear your thoughts about why people need to understand the gravity of why fetishization is dangerous. Specifically, if I'm reading this right, why it's this explicitly dangerous when we're dealing with women of color. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, I really go off my experience of, because I am light skinned. So I think it's just really, there is a certain privilege to being light skinned, but I think it's just really gross. I think, darker skinned women get the same thing too, with, people will only go after them just because of, their skin tone. And then they're only, going after that because it's beautiful to them and everything. I mean, it's not because they're beautiful, but for sexual things only, for sexual fantasies. We've seen a few of those things on TikTok where they joke about it with, the breeding with slaves and everything like that.
Yeah, it's I think what people don't realize is when you can look at somebody less than human, that means that it's almost, well, I mean, like it's even in today's society today, it's still written 3/5 of a man. We're not considered human beings in the society. Which means if something happens to us, it's not that big of a deal because we're treated less than cattle. When you spoke of slavery and everything like that, the one thing that, as far as like the work I do, trying to put it into human trafficking and sex slavery and everything, I don't think people realize like how slippery of a slope that is, that you could look at somebody and be like, well, they're just this, their body features, or they're that perfect pigmentation, and they don't realize like how dangerous that could be when you just see them for that and not outside of that. You don't see them for who their person is. You don't see them for who their aspirations, their dreams, their thoughts, their feelings. It is just frankly dangerous. I don't think people really get that nugget though. They don't, or better yet, they don't care to hear that nugget, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, I was getting a little distracted while I was answering the last time, but I feel that, just basing attractiveness on skin tone and all that is very dangerous just in general. I think it kind of erases Blackness a little bit, in my opinion, because
break that down for me. Break that down. No. You can't be dropping gems and just subtly walk by it. You gotta say that. Come on, say that one more time and then dive into that, my sister. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
I think when we, base attractiveness on skin tone, I think it erases, Blackness in a way. I think, it's not a bad thing, to say light skins are attractive. But for me, when I think of Black, and I think for a lot of people, when they think of Black, it's, at least brown skin, Most people, when they think of that, it's like, I find it beautiful. But I think it's just it's more to the Eurocentric standard of beauty of like being pale is like the attractive bit. That's all your looser curls, all of that is seen as more palatable for other people because they're not used to what we have. They want what we have when it's on somebody else, not necessarily when it's on a Black woman. So.
So I'm gonna kind of switch gears a little bit here for a second. And I think that this is important because it's essentially it's in our DNA when we're talking about social justice, we're talking about activism, we're talking about the liberation of a people, not just our people, but all people. How do I want to pontificate my point on this? What was it for you that said, and I don't know if I didn't do too much of a deep dive on you specifically, but was there a moment that said, I need to get into this work. I need to speak up on these things. I need to say something about this. Was there a moment? I call it the activism itch. You know what I'm saying? Your spidey senses were tingling. I don't know. Was there a time for you in your life that said, I need to be about this cause in some sense? If that was, would you mind sharing that with us today, please?
Mine is a little bit childish, but it was
don't do that. I'm tired of you doing that. No. It's not childish. It's not young. This is your experience.
You gotta listen to the story.
All right. First. I'm listening. Okay.
So, it was, as I said, it started off with BTS first and everything. Simply because I saw, J-Hope's chicken noodle soup with twists in his hair.
Wait,
I didn't like.
Wait, chicken noodle soup? Hold on.
Oh yeah.
I'm listening. Go ahead, my sister. I'm listening.
Okay. I'm not a fan, y'all. So you got to keep, bear with me. I don't know much, but I think with, this music video, one of them were putting over like a funny song over it, right? And it was a Black, fan. And I was just like, why are you making fun of this behavior? Like, why are you endorsing this behavior and thinking it's funny, to put like, the Cupid shuffle over it, or the wobble over it. I believe it was the wobble. And I remember just being like, I don't like that hair. And then somebody who wasn't Black was arguing with me, saying that, I shouldn't be offended. And then I was blocked. So that's immediately why, with the soda on the side. I just wanted to make TikToks after that, because I feel like people just don't realize how offensive these things are. It seems shallow when we're just talking about, hairstyles and clothing, but it really does mean a lot, once they have such deep cultural meanings and history, and being worn by, not just basing it on community, but people who do, degrade and say a lot of demeaning things about us, and really use us just for entertainment purposes.
Gotcha. That wasn't childish. I thought you were better say something like, I don't know, like somebody was handing out like snacks in like elementary school or something, and you were the only one that didn't get it, and the person who was handing out the snacks was like this white boy or something. You were like, you know what? I'm sick of it. Like that was the backbreaker for you. So you're even that, it's like, bruh, I don't get into that. I don't tell the cut how to bleed. That's, you said these could sound childish. You're fine.
Well,
so
I mean,
go ahead.
Sorry. I think with everybody, we all get into internet arguments, So I was doing that for the longest time. I think, as soon as Instagram was a thing and we started seeing more social issues pop up, of course I was there arguing with people. But I think it felt nice to actually start making content where people can actually see my face and know that I mean it. And I mean what I say, and I would say it to these people. And, I think that's a big step for anybody. Like anybody can make videos and start talking about that stuff. If you really care about it, you'll do it.
Gotcha. My lighting's getting a little screwy over here. So this is interesting because I think people need to get the gravity of this. So let's take it back to last year for a second. We're all on lockdown, you know what I'm saying? For us, we had two things we had to deal with. We had the pandemic, which we're still dealing with. We're still dealing with this pandemic Lovato going on. We're still dealing with this Panera Bread pandemic. We're still dealing with people not wanting to wear their masks. That's fine. I mean, like, that's cool. We got plenty of shovels. Anyway, but we're also dealing with, I said how I said it. But we're also dealing with the clandemic at the same time. 3Ks, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to pull punches around here. So when we're talking about last year during the lock-in, one thing I wanted to ask about, and I think that this is important, just for the lock-in, and then I'll follow it up with my next question. What was that like for you, not being able to live your regular life to the fullest capacity that you normally would, being locked in, essentially? Felt like everybody was on 23-1. I don't know if you know about that. But you laugh, now I'm nervous. But talk a little bit about like what being in the, I would say the thick of it, as far as the pandemic goes, with the lock-in, and you laugh, so I know you know that TikTok sound great. But talk a little bit about what the lock-in meant to you, and how was it for you as far as like, did your mental health take a toll by any means with the change in routine and everything like that? Speak a little bit about that.
I think for me, it was, I live in Texas. Now that we finally got to that point. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's hard out here. But we didn't really have much of a lockdown. But I think for me, when we did, and we were forced to stay inside and all of that, it did take a toll on my mental health a little bit because, you know, I like to be with my friends. You know, I like to go hang out with them. But I mean, you know, there's still ways to connect with my friends. I think in a way it positively changed me. I felt like I could focus more on finding stuff new that didn't have to be around huge crowds or other stuff new that, you know, I wasn't normally used to doing. I think the only negative thing that happened was that, you know, well, I wouldn't even say that was negative. I think everybody had been more focused on social media, and a lot of the stuff that was going on, everybody was saying. Like, nobody can lie and say they didn't see what was going on on the news, or, you know, because it spread everywhere. And I think everybody can agree on that. But I felt like, you know, I felt like then I should talk more about those topics as well. I was kind of sick of the ignorance. But yeah, that's when I started arguing online. But that's another story.
Okay. And so right around the same time, we had, we didn't hear about this till months afterwards. We had Ahmaud Arbery, and then we had Breonna Taylor. And then on a fateful Memorial Day, we had George Floyd. Talk a little bit about what that was like for you, being locked in, and essentially, I don't know how you normally deal with or try to cope with certain things when things are impacting and afflicting our community. But can you talk about if it did happen for you, did it hit a little differently when these three, we'll just call them martyrs, we're not gonna call them deaths because death is natural.
Mhm.
What did it impact you a little differently? Can you speak to the dichotomy of what effect that had on you and kind of expound on that a little bit?
Well, it was a lot. As I said, you know, nobody could escape these things because it was on social media. I'm not going to be the first to say that it was hard seeing the video being spread for George Floyd around everywhere when you've already seen it. It's really traumatic to watch and see on social media. It affected me a lot. I think that's when, you know, I was willing to do anything. You know, I marched for protests and all of that. It felt it made me feel a lot more helpless, though, that we were in lockdown during that time, because it felt like all I could do was just post on social media about it or donate. And, you know, I don't think donating is like a small thing, but it felt kind of sad that all I could do was like sit here, and that's all I can do is like through a phone or a computer.
Gotcha. And one thing, and I think that this is important when we're talking about the experience and everything like that and how it impacted you. Was there a change in you, I would say, as a person after you saw and heard about Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd? Have you felt like you yourself as a person changed? And if so, could you share that with us today? Take your time.
I I felt a little bit more radicalized. I think as like definitely not shying away from speaking up about it with anybody, you know, besides just my friend group. I didn't care about talking about it anywhere that, you know, on social media. I didn't care about bringing it up in conversation or correcting others on it, especially with, you know, Breonna Taylor and talking about how all of that happened, talking about, you know, how it is for Black women when it comes to these type of things. And of course, all of it is, you know, horrible. But I think a lot of the time, you know, Breonna Taylor was really forgotten. I still think she is forgotten. I don't think it's talked about enough. But hearing that and talking about that, I don't feel like I heard enough coverage about it. But that could just be me.
I mean we know that to be true just from what we see. Unfortunately in this society, white men are on top, you know what I'm saying, in this patriarchal society, and black women are on the bottom. Malcolm X said that they are the most unheard, abused um women, or just, being in this society. It is frustrating when dealing with this because it's like, and I don't know if you could attest to this at all, but like when we bring Breonna Taylor up, people get mad. They like, why you still talk about this chick? It's like, because she never got freaking justice. I mean, I think that's kind of important. It's like complaining about a fire while the fire is still going on. Why are you still talking about how hot this fire is? Because it's still a freaking fire. That's why it's literally a hot issue. Have you find that to be frustrating when we're trying to get people to understand that human life was taken from this world prematurely, and justice has not taken place, and it seems like it's not even, people are even attempting to help it grow legs. When we were discussing Breonna Taylor, Atiana Jefferson, all these other souls that we not lost, were taken because of the ways of this world.
I really am at a loss of words when talking about this, because all I can say is that I'm not the most encouraging with it, but I feel like it's a very helpless situation, because I feel like the good thing between you and I is that, we at least have dialogue about it. And it feels like that's all we can really do, is continue talking about it and making sure no one forgets about it. And it's sad because I feel like that's just not enough. It does not do them justice, the justice that they very much deserve. And all I can do is just continue talking about it or bringing it up. And I feel like when, we do talk about, these women, it's like preaching to the choir, when we're talking about it, it's usually with other people that understand and know about it. And I guess really, I think that's just a hard thing with these subjects. It's like, how do we reach to people that we need to listen? How do we make them listen? And, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario with that, as we've seen. So,
and I guess like one thing that I'm curious about when we're talking about in the space of doing activism, what are things that you could offer as far as advice or things to do for people that, for instance, that feel that desperation, that helplessness that you just spoke of? What are things that you could suggest to somebody as an activist, whether it's social media activism as I call it, whether you're in the streets, whether you're calling your council members up? What advice can you offer to somebody that feels like they don't really have a sense of direction of what to do next?
Well, clearly, my sense of direction took me to TikTok. Now I'm not, constantly talking about racial injustice, but I feel like no matter what we're talking about with any injustice towards our community, I feel like you can talk about it. You could be the first person talking about it. You could be one of many people talking about it. I took to social media, that was my choice. I stopped just, typing on my phone and actually showing my face and talking about it and relaying the message, because personally, I feel like people will listen more if they can see you and they can hear you speaking and that you're being direct about it. Other than that, I really believe in trying to help the community. It's always going back to the community. What can we do to help our own community? Can we donate to more of our causes? Can we help our own businesses? Things like that. I feel like, when it comes to, buying things, I'm very, very big on trying to support Black businesses only. It's really hard, but I think, that's what keeps me going, is trying to do that even through gentrification that even Dallas has been experiencing. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
That's all I have to really say. I'm sorry if that's not.
Gotcha. By the way, somebody snitched on you, by the way. Somebody texted me, and I asked you a question yesterday. I said, do you have a business or do you do something? I always try to spotlight people, and you lied straight to me. So, Queen Micah, Sister Micah, I noticed your eyebrows are like immaculate. Do you want to talk a little bit about the the eyebrow game a little bit? What you do when you're not in front of camera? Do you want to talk to us a little bit about? Yeah, I got birdies everywhere. They'll play with me.
Oh no! I'm gonna look at these comments on this YouTube. I don't know about this. But I will say I'm an esthetician by day, TikToker by night.
Okay. And I don't like to say you got a little business. You got a business. You know what I'm saying? You tried to. Wow, you really tried on your boy. That's crazy.
I don't have my own business. I think that was another thing that, I got something from the pandemic. It motivated me to, do more, even more with my life. I hate being like stagnant. I like to go and do stuff, try and further myself. And I did open a booth for a little bit, and unfortunately it is closed. But maybe one day you'll see me in a salon. Somebody will find me and be like, "Wow, I found Micah." If I ever get to that level. So. Okay,
well, we're just gonna speak it like it's gonna happen. You thought you was slick, so. Do you so you do lashes? You do you do brows and lashes. My bad.
No, I do not do brows.
You don't do brows? Your brows look perfect though. I just felt like don't do that's a compliment. Take that. You're welcome. But how? What is dude? I'm working. Get out of here. See, I can't even make this up. My goodness. Nigga, anybody was talking to you. Good Lord. I can't. But I've lost my train of thought, and the train is like half a mile down the road. Thanks a lot. He ugly. Oh my goodness. But where can people find you as far as if they need it? And you out there in Texas, you know what I'm saying? You out there, I know some people got some squirrely looking lashes, not brows. Even though I said what I said. Some people out here looking like they try to fight off dragons with their fans and stuff off of their face. Look like they go float off the ground with their lashes. That's besides the point. I said what I said. But where can people find you if they wanted? You said you don't got a booth, but I imagine you move around a little bit to get your work done. Where can people find you if they wanted to get right? You know what I'm saying? Where can you thought you was slick? Where can people find you to help you get some business? You know what I'm saying? Because I got people in Texas and they need help. I can speak of 5 right now that lashes look like they need maintenance. You know what I'm saying? They definitely need.
Well, as I said, I do currently work for someone, but you can find us at, CLO Beauty Bar. There will be one opening in Frisco as well. You might be seeing me there. I currently work at the one in Savannah, but hope to see you soon if you want to get your lashes done or facials or lash lifts, all that.
You do facials? Oh, see, you now more is coming out as time goes on because you thought you could try to gloss over what you do. I said, do you have a bit? No, I don't do anything. Wow. Don't make me leak the DMs. I'll do it. I ain't got no problem doing that.
One day I will have my own business, and then I'll definitely.
Yes, you will. But you are a business. Jay-Z says I am a businessman and I am a businessman. You know what I'm saying? So you are a business. We here to spotlight. You know what I'm saying? We don't do any of that. You try to. Wow. Shout out to people that actually pay attention. She really did it. Somebody texted me.
Look at this. I need to find something.
Somebody texted me and said she didn't even put her handle in on her screen name. I'm like, yeah, she really thought she was slick. That's crazy. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. We all good. You know what I'm saying? So this is usually right around the time that we do like our quick hitters and everything like that. So this is where I ask you some more questions I kind of rehearsed, but they're not like too in depth. This may determine whether or not I like you as a person. I don't know. We'll find out. So I just asked you a couple of quick hitters. There's really no right or wrong answer, even though, like I said, I might hate or love you a little bit more or less. That depends on what your response is and whatever your proxy is. So, are you ready for these? Are you ready for these quick hitters?
Go ahead, shoot away.
All right. You know, I'm gonna start with this one. You say you're 21. You might be old enough to remember. Kid Cudi or Frank Ocean?
You can't do that.
Yes, I can.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Yep, I did it. Welcome to the Kid Casper podcast.
I already know you're finna get angry at me for this one.
Oh, boy.
It's Frank Ocean. I'm sorry. It's
Look, I would bang with Frank if he didn't lie to us so doggone much. Like, I'm still waiting for Boys Don't Cry. Just a little bit. Like a lot. You know what I'm saying?
we waiting for
Like
a lot.
he's like that dad. He's like that dad that said, "I'll be out. I'm gonna go get a pack of smokes," and he never came back home. Like that's just kind of how I feel. At least I get consistent.
He is just he's living life. You know, he's being private.
That's fine. Don't drop any more release dates. My goodness, it's like being left. It's like being left on red by your crush, and the anxiety and the suspense you feel when the three dots are moving. That's Frank Ocean. I understand. It's okay. It's all right.
The music is good though. Come on.
The music is fire, but it's just come on, bro. Just if you don't want to come around anymore, just say that. Tired of leaving a chair out for you. On the subject of music, Solange or her?
You doing this to make fun of my age? Clearly,
Not even.
Clearly, we know what.
I'm listening.
It's her. It's her.
My answer is her too. You're perfectly fine. Like
Okay.
I'm not.
I thought you were gonna do this whole age thing where you're like, you know,
Oh no. This one might tell me a little bit more about your age. Give me your top 5, and I do these differently. Give me your top 5 rappers, East Coast and West Coast.
Oh boy, you. That's gonna be bad because I don't even keep up with that now anymore. After the 90s, it's like who keeps up with that? Personally, I don't.
I'm listening.
You can't do this to me.
Yes, I can.
You
This
can't.
is my podcast.
You
Look,
can't.
I had to pick
Come
3
on.
I had to pick 3 Pokemon for you. You can give me your list. It's okay.
Right.
It's all right.
I'll be the 5th. Can I pass?
Nope. Sorry. Give me your top 5. They could be new age or old age. I don't care. This is every playlist is like a fingerprint. They look similar, but they all different. I'm listening.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can even think of that many.
5. Fine. You want to give me just your top 5? It don't have to be East Coast or West Coast.
Okay, there you go.
5?
There you go. We can do that.
Okay, I'll be easy on you. Go ahead.
Okay, we can do that. I do like Tupac. You know, a big fan. This is just gonna be random. Clearly, very
No
random.
specific order. You're fine.
Megan Thee Stallion.
I'm listening. I don't know one song by her. Sorry. I don't.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I'm a good noodle. I can't listen to that music anyway.
Anyway. Lil' Kim. I don't think I really listened to a lot of new rappers. We can consider LL Cool J.
Yeah, he's one of the godfathers of rap. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
We can consider him in that list.
Consider him. Wow. Continue.
I grew up listening to it because my mom really liked him, so you know.
Consider him. How dare you? Continue.
And I don't know. I'm struggling with this list, y'all. I mean,
Yes,
it's
you are.
crazy. Asian Debrat. I'll take that. We'll go ahead and move on to the next one with Asian Debrat. We're gonna have her
Oh,
as
man.
the who I listen to. Sorry, I'm sorry. Or I could put Doja Cat. We could put Doja Cat on there.
Doja Cat is a rapper? Oh my gosh.
You didn't know this?
As a rapper?
You didn't know?
But as a rapper though, in your top
okay,
five?
here's my argument. Here's my argument. Okay, because I've been a fan, for a long time since before her little rise to fame. So I think she does good on any beat. Like she can rap on any beat. Don't do that. Don't do that. She does. She can hop on. When she features, she's really good. I am upset that she has chosen to sing a lot more in her songs. I don't like after the whole Say So album, I was really upset with that. And I was like, you used to rap like every song. Like, what's the issue? But I do like her music. It has, a lot of diversity. You can find a song for anybody. I feel like you can. You can't be upset about that. Come on. She can rap about anything. Like
a rapper though? A rapper? Maybe a candy rapper. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I don't know.
Okay, whatever. You know what? I'll get my list together next time. It's okay. I'll make
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Good God.
It's hard. You can put me on the spot for music because I like so many artists. Like it's hard for me to just think. Gotta go back in the archives and all that.
Do
it's
you
hard.
even have an archives at 21 years old? I don't even know. That's besides the point. Good God. Okay. If you could see anybody perform live, alive or dead, you know what I'm saying, as far as like an artist goes. And this is outside of rap. This can be rap, rock and roll, R&B, blues, jazz, you know what I'm saying, country. I don't know if you like country because you out there where white people were invented in Texas. If you could see anybody perform live, who would that be?
I'm gonna have to go with it. I think anybody would say this, but Prince. I'm a big fan of Prince, and I wish I could have seen him perform live. That's an actual performer, a performance.
All right. Okay. Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
Okay, good. I was getting a little worried about
Ain't
you.
nobody want no KFC nasty chicken.
This is just for comedic purposes. This is just, like I said, I just came up with this one like a couple of nights ago. The Coke at McDonald's or the Sprite at McDonald's?
I prefer the Coke. The Sprite is too much. I'm sorry.
It's a little spicy. It's just a tad bit spicy. You know what I'm saying?
Too much. I do not need that with my fries. I do not need that with my fries.
It'd be hitting hard like some Hennessy for no reason. Like, this is just Sprite. Calm down. My goodness. Oh, good Lord. Let's see. If you could have dinner with these 5 people, dead or alive, and you could pick a guest of, actually, no, 5 people, dead or alive, as far as to have dinner with you, who would these 5 people be? And they could be anybody.
Oh, well, clearly, I'm going to pick Prince again because I just want to meet him. It's sad that, like, all I can think of are, like, the ones who have passed. It's, Prince, Tupac, Selena, Aaliyah. Definitely would want to meet her. And
that laugh makes me nervous.
Because I know you. I was thinking of somebody, and I was like, he's not gonna like that answer either. So I'm not gonna.
This is your dinner. I don't gotta sit with these folk. Go ahead.
You said you would judge me though, so there's a difference. But
I already did.
I do Well, can we get a Michael Jackson at the table? That'd be good too. I mean, have
What's
both.
wrong with Michael Jackson?
Well, I was thinking of somebody else, but I didn't think about that. I was like, Michael
Nah,
Jackson.
who is it? I want to hear it now. You play it
No,
out here. People-
I just said Michael Jackson. Damn it.
If it's Doja Cat, I'm not going to judge you. You already said she's a rapper. That's the worst thing you said on this podcast, but that's besides the
You
point.
need to listen to her music. That's what you need to do before talking like
pick
that.
pick the fifth. Did a guess you wanted to pick.
I already did. I said Michael Jackson. Can I not
Okay, whatever.
get a break? I was going to say Megan Thee Stallion as well. But
That's fine. This is your dinner. I don't gotta sit with you guys.
But I kind of just want to have the only legends table. Like no offense, to Megan,
Legends.
but
You put her as a okay.
I know. I was saying like that's why I said Michael Jackson. I was like,
okay. Now I was getting nervous. I was like, look, the Black experience is not a monolithic experience. Everybody, she doesn't speak for us. You know what I'm saying?
I know they're already judging anyway. It's okay. It's all right.
It's that Doja Cat. It's that Doja Cat bar.
Don't even do that. Don't even do that.
Anti-way. And for my last quick hitter I have is if you can see or would like to see anybody come on the Kid Casper podcast that you know what I'm saying, who would it be? But your answer has to be somebody you could get on here essentially.
I told you I was talking to you about her before, but Ebony Rose definitely.
Had her on here already.
You already did it.
Yep.
Dang. Why she didn't tell me about that? That's not fair.
I'm listening.
Who else can I get on here? I
don't know.
Nobody wants to listen. They don't be listening to me.
I'm tired of you. Look, I'm gonna pull.
I just talk about K-pop. Okay, nobody. No, they just look at me and they're like, "Cool, whatever."
I'm listening.
Is there anybody else that I could think of?
Yeah, I'll interview your mama. I don't really care. Like I could interview anybody. Do you understand?
Shoot.
They don't gotta be big. They don't gotta be a small creator. They could be your mailman. Anybody you could think of.
I don't know. I could try it with one of my friends. DJ. I think you would like him. He can talk.
Okay.
Good Black man. They can talk about, how he's unlearned some behaviors, has learned, to appreciate Black women, everything. He really does that well.
Okay. All right. What does he do? You say his name is DJ. Is he a DJ or is that he just out here catfishing people with his moniker and everything like that?
No. He's a good person. I think that, I would like to see have a deep conversation on him.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I'll interview anybody. I'll interview the mailman, the milkman. I don't know. That person that keeps giving out one sauce at Chick-fil-A, even though they got 20 nuggets in that mug. I would love to talk to those people. That's besides the point. Anyway, Queen Micah, Sister Micah, this was good. It started off a little bumpy. We was trying to figure out what app you downloaded to sound like T-Pain at one point. That's okay. I had my brothers acting like turds that were running in and out of here, adding their little ad libs and everything like that. But that was good. How do you feel after finally starting the podcast? Or better yet, how do you feel starting the podcast and like where we are now at the finish line?
I'm feeling good. I think, it's good to have another podcast, to really get me used to these type of things. As I said, I said this before this live had started. I'm definitely like an extroverted introvert. So it's easy for me to like post videos, but knowing that so many people follow me, I would never be able to do this in front of like thousands of people. I'm just nervous on a live stream with someone else. So I feel like my thoughts are all jumbled, but hopefully in the future I can be a lot more direct and straightforward.
All right, all right. And what can we expect from you in the future? Do you have anything that you're like personally working on? Got a little, not little. It's not little. You have a business. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything you're working on? Projects? Participating in anything as far as like things that you're working on? What can we expect from Micah, a romantis in the future?
Well, I've definitely been slacking on TikTok. If you've seen my posts, it's not been as consistent. I had to take a little mental break, but I'm back. I will be making more content. It is tiring, researching about a whole bunch of people all the time and making sure you have your facts right. But I'll definitely be more consistent. And soon, maybe a YouTube channel, and some people keep requesting that. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, we got a YouTube channel and everything like that. That's what's up. I'll definitely be plugged in. Consider me one of your first subscribers, hopefully, unless one of your like, I don't know, people that care about you and stuff want to subscribe first. They suck as human beings. That's besides the point. What? You could just get ice. You don't have to tell me you're getting ice. What? Oh my gosh. Just anyway. Sister Micah, it was a pleasure having you on. You are welcome back here anytime. Now if you just have something you want to talk about, like say if like, oh, you do have something to, you would like to like kind of spotlight for yourself, you're welcome back here anytime. Sometimes we have forums and we have group discussions depending on what's happening around the world. We get different opinions and everything like that. But it was good. It was good talking to you, getting to know yous and everything like that. Figured out that you lie to people in the DMs and saying you ain't got no businesses and everything like that. That's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Do you have a website or a way that people can get in touch with you to get I'm serious, because I know some people that need help. Like they need the Lord to touch their face with their lashes. They out here looking crazy. Some people need some facials. There's this dude. I'll have to send you a link. There's this dude. He's like this black conservative. He looks like a light-skinned avocado. That's how bad his skin. I think I'll let you see it. He looking crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? But Sister Micah, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. I know this won't be the last time. You're considered family already. I know people enjoyed listening to you. You're not a little creator. You're not just a K-pop enthusiast, or apparently you have beef with this dude named Jay. What's his name again? Jay. What's his name? Jay
Park.
Yeah, apparently you're beefing with him. I didn't know. People are kind of giving me the download as I'm talking to you and everything like that. But,
oh Lord.
Yeah, it's I got some more digging to do, I guess, but that's more than fine. But yeah, I appreciate you accepting my invitation on a Labor Day. You should be resting up, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you taking your time, your very busy schedule as a businesswoman to talk to little old me and everything like that. Much appreciated.
Well, thank you for having me. It was nice having this experience. And, thank you for making me feel comfortable on here.
Well, I tried to. I mean, like, until that Doja Cat mention came up, that very not even shameless, shameful plug that you dropped on here. That I said what I said.
Come on. We both on TikTok. How can you deny the truth? We both on TikTok.
As a rapper, though, as a rapper,
come on now.
I can name 5 female rappers off rip. I can name 5. I can name 5.
Those were at the top of my head. But please share with us 5. Share with us.
Ruby Ibarra, okay. Rhapsody, Chika, Angie Rose, and there's this other sister. Trying to remember this light-skinned sister off of Rhythm and Flow that I like got into.
Are you talking about Mulatto? Or
not Mulatto. Not no. It's her, I think it's like Kay Machiavelli or something like that. She can spit. Doja Cat, nah, bruh. Now out here sharing feet pics. We can't do that. We can't. No, she gotta go sit somewhere in the corner. That's besides the point.
Everybody gotta make some extra coin on the side.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. As you hide in your businesses, let me find out. Good God. But thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. This was an interesting conversation to say the least. It was good until the end with the quick hitters. I'm happy you did pick her, even though Solange wouldn't have been a bad answer, but that's besides the point. I'm gonna have to put you on to some new music.
I'll allow it.
You have no choice. But thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I will not be here tomorrow. I will be doing an episode on my sister's Queen Jessica, Wayward Jessica 29's podcast tomorrow, titled Black Men in the Box with Young Merc, I Speak 1906, Good News Tyler, and my goofy self. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, Queen Micah, it was a pleasure having you on. Pleasure sharing this space with you. Everybody that's watching tonight, be good to each other. Continue to lead with love. Always remember you are beautiful, blessed, and beloved. Raisins don't go on potato salad. Mayonnaise don't go on peas either, because there's some people. We'll talk after. Yeah, we'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk. There's some people that put mayonnaise on peas and condensed milk and avocados. Not even kidding. I'm not kidding. And you'll probably judge me a little bit after I tell you who it is. Oh, yeah. So raisins don't go on potato salad. And Jesus wasn't white. Have a good night. Good Lord.